If you're an engineer, you know you're going to be writing a lot of reports. And honestly, they're some of the most important documents you'll ever create. But how do you write one that people actually read and act on, instead of one that just, gathers dust on a shelf? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
Winston Churchill said this, and wow, does that hit home, right? It perfectly captures this huge problem. We've all seen them. And hey, maybe we've even written a few. Those giant reports that are so dense, they practically scream, "Don't read me." We're going to fix that today.
And look, this isn't just about getting a good grade or ticking some box for your boss. Your career success genuinely hinges on this. A good report is what communicates your hard work, it's what justifies your big decisions, and it's what gets your projects the funding and support they need. It is an absolutely critical skill.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to really dig into this whole unread report problem. Then we'll build a great report from the ground up, looking at its core anatomy and how to make a killer first impression. After that, we'll get to the really powerful stuff, how to turn your raw data into compelling insights using clear, effective visuals.
All right, let's start with that core problem. Why do so many engineering reports just sit there, unread? And more importantly, how can something as simple as a standard format be the solution?
I absolutely love this analogy. Think of it this way. A standard format is like a familiar neighborhood. Your readers, your boss, your clients, they're always in a hurry. They need to find the executive summary, or the main conclusions, or a specific table of data, and they need to find it fast. A predictable structure lets them navigate your work without getting lost, because they already know where all the streets are.
Okay, so what does this familiar neighborhood actually look like? Let's roll out the blueprint for what makes a successful, really well-structured engineering report.
These right here are the standard components, the street signs of your report. You can basically group them into 3 parts. First, you've got the front matter. That's things like the transmittal letter and table of contents. It just gets the reader oriented. Then comes the body, the intro, all your data, and the conclusions. This is where you make your case. And finally, the back matter, stuff like appendices for all that extra detail. Now, your company might have its own specific guidelines, but this classic structure, it's the foundation of any readable report.
You know how they say first impressions matter? Well, that's true for documents too. The transmittal letter and just the physical packaging of your report, they set a professional tone before anyone even reads a single word of your data.
The transmittal or cover letter is actually super simple. It follows a really clear 3-step structure. The first paragraph basically says, here's the report you asked for. The second one says, here's a quick peek at what's inside. And that final paragraph is just, I hope this is useful and feel free to reach out if you have questions. It's like a professional handshake in writing.
And here's a perfect example of one. Just look at how it follows that 3-paragraph structure. See? First paragraph states the purpose. The second gives a quick overview, and the third is a nice professional closing. It's concise, it's direct, and it sets the stage perfectly. This is pretty much the gold standard.
And hey, don't forget the packaging. If your report is more than 10 pages long, bind it. Seriously? A simple cover doesn't just protect the pages, it instantly makes the whole thing look more substantial and professional. Just make sure the label has all the key info, the title, your name, your organization, the date, and any tracking number you might have.
Okay, so we've structured our report, we've packaged it up nicely. Now let's dive into the content itself, and specifically the most powerful tool you have for getting your findings across, visuals. This is, without a doubt, one of the most important skills in technical writing today.
So, let me ask you this. What's the best way to present your data? Should you bury all your important numbers in a dense paragraph of text? Or maybe organize them into a clean table? Or what about visualizing it all in a graph?
And this right here illustrates the answer perfectly. On the left, we've got data just lost inside a paragraph. It's hard to find, it's impossible to compare. But on the right, that's the exact same information, just put into a simple table. And boom, instantly, it's scannable, it's clear, it's easy to understand. The difference is just night and day.
It's not just me saying this. As the expert Charles Sides points out, the trend is undeniable. We're all relying more and more on visual communication. Your ability to make an effective table or a clear chart is no longer just a nice-to-have skill. It's absolutely essential.
So if visuals are that important, we have got to get them right. Let's go over some simple but really powerful rules for designing tables and graphics that communicate clearly and look professional.
Before we jump into the rules, let's just make sure we're all speaking the same language. This here shows the basic parts of a table. You've got your title up top, you have column headings, row headings, and then the data itself. Pretty simple, right? Okay, let's move on. Now for a pro tip that makes a huge difference in how your tables look. For columns that have text in them, left align everything. Easy. But for columns with numbers, do this. Center the heading, but right align the numbers. Why? Because it lines up all the decimal points, which makes the numbers incredibly easy to scan and compare. It's a tiny detail with a massive impact on readability.
Okay, let's lock in the 5 fundamental rules for any visual you create. These are so important. 1. Give every single visual a clear, descriptive title. The reader has to know what they're looking at. 2. Label everything. I mean, axes on a graph, key parts of a diagram, don't make people guess. 3. If you borrowed the graphic or the data, you have to cite your source. That's just professional integrity. 4. Placement is everything. Put the visual right after you mention it in the text, not 5 pages later. And number 5, and this is probably the most important one, always explain the visual. Use a cross-reference, like, as you can see in Figure 2, and then tell the reader what the data actually means. Never, ever just drop a chart in and hope they get the point. You have to connect the dots for them.
Which brings us right back to the main challenge here. Remember, people do not read reports from start to finish. They jump around. They'll read the summary, then flip to a specific graph, then maybe check out the conclusions. Your job is to design a document where they stumble upon your key findings no matter which path they take.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. Think about the last report you wrote, or maybe the next one you have to tackle. Is it a powerful tool that's actually defending and explaining your brilliant work? Or is it, like Churchill said, just defending itself from ever being read? The choice is all yours.